Hi, and welcome back to In My Hometown, the Golden Era Conversations, we're calling them, right, Pascal? Is that what we're calling it?
Definitely. The pre-golden and golden.
Exactly.
We gotta
Going
make-
golden
going
and golden.
golden. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
but
yes.
golden era, that's what
Golden
we're
era,
saying.
yes,
Anything over 50,
Yes.
you are golden. Today, we are talking reinvention and the small changes that you can make in your life when you realize and decide that this is that the journey continues, there's a new chapter, and that maybe for some that this is just the start of something great. And so we have a guest today who just embodies that mindset in a huge way. And her name is Jodi Harrison Bauer, and she is extraordinary, fearless. She is a fitness expert, a competitor, a trainer. You are a mom, you are an entrepreneur, and you also are a host of Fearlessly Authentic,
Yes.
the podcast,
Yes.
which I just love and we are fans of. And we're so happy you're here.
I'm so happy I'm here too.
This is so great. And
This
you're
is
in from
beautiful, nice-
Miami in the cold and snow.
I know, but you know what? It's really not bothering me that much.
Okay.
You know, being an East Coast girl from Connecticut, it's not like cold is foreign to me.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so
Yeah,
I'm
but
like-
it is still a biting when you
It
come.
is. It is. And it's been very gray hair too,
Yes,
right?
it has
So
But I
been.
told her, I
cloudy.
said, when it's like that, we go from a heated garage to a valet,
Right.
from a valet to heated garage.
Right.
We really don't walk down the street.
Right. And you're carried
You
also
carry
by
a
Pascal,
yeah, I know.
right?
Yes,
you.
yes.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about
Like I'm
Jodi.
China.
Yes.
I
Very
saw,
excited.
Ben flibbling a little bit with Instagram and social media, and I saw Jodi, who friended, I don't know who we friended, or I don't know how I think from a friend from the Golden Bachelorette,
Yes.
Leslie Fima.
Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie Fima introduced us together, and I saw social media, and I was just like flabbergasted by, number one, how beautiful she looks, but by her age. I mean, a 64 going to 65, who's been, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about you, but
Right.
I needed to bring you in Chicago and have us in a show because I want our audience, our listener, to understand that there is no age for fitness. There is no, the age, the number is not what makes the person. So tell us a little bit about you, Jodi. How did you come up through the fitness? How did you look so good at your age? What is your recipe? What is the fountain of youth?
It's funny when I do get asked that question often, and it's just been a lifestyle for me, just grinding it away. I love working out. I love feeling healthy. So for me, it's not like labor intensive. I enjoy it. And who knew when I started lifting weights at 20 that I would feel this good at almost 65? I didn't know. We didn't know back then, or at least we weren't talking about it. We didn't have social media. That muscle was the key to longevity. The more muscle you have on your body, the less body fat you have on your body. The better you eat, the better you're going to feel. Right. And I was doing all those things before it was trendy. I was counting my macros before it was trendy. I was doing that in the 90s and everybody thought I was crazy. And I've just continued. I didn't listen to anybody. I just did what I remember I was teaching workout classes after my daughter was born. And my mom said, "What are you doing? Why do you have to do this exercise class?
Right.
Why do you have to lift these weights? What are you doing?" I said, "I love doing it." And I just kept doing it. I got so much pushback by so many people, like almost bullying me about the way I ate and how much I enjoyed lifting. And I just didn't listen to them. You know, when you know what you're doing is right, but you don't know where it's going to take you.
Yep.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I just continued to do that my whole life.
What do you think it was, though, did someone introduce you to lifting or?
No, and I think I told you, Pascal, that. So I danced for like 12 years. Then I was a cheerleader. Then I rode crew for 1 year, and I didn't like it. And so I went back to dance, realized I'm not going to be a prima ballerina at 5 feet tall with not long limbs. And I found weights at my college. It was an all-women's college. And I just started lifting, and I kind of introduced it to myself. You know, you're introduced a little bit in high school and so on, but it wasn't like it is now.
Right.
And that was really it. I found it myself. And then I joined Gloria Stevens because all the gyms at the time. Do you know Gloria Stevens?
No.
Do you know Gloria Stevens?
No.
So it was an all women's gym, and it was basically a circuit training for women. Bicep curls.
I've heard of Barry's boot camp. That's as far back
So
as I go.
think about women not going, because the only gyms around were like Gold's Gym, like real, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was big bodybuilding. So women didn't go in there. So it was a place called Gloria Stevens, and they're out of business.
But there is also a trend in that time where Jane Fonda was making some videos online where you could work out with the videos. Like the
Kathy Smith.
Cindy
Smith.
Crawford. I used to work out to Cindy
did
Crawford's
that.
video.
That was the big. I think the trend started working out, but not on the weight. That was more like a cardio, like aerobic classes and stuff like that.
Yes, you're right. Jane Fonda, I remember working out to Jane Fonda after college. I was living in a house with like 5 other girls, and we were just putting the Jane Fonda workouts. Kathy Smith, and then
Tommy Lee Curtis.
who's that?
The woman who danced flash
Austin?
dance. Curtis, Ellen, very short hair.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
She did that video. She did dance. She did a movie with John Travolta dancing.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I can't think. Is she blonde?
She's short hair, very short
Okay.
hair.
All right. Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee, that's
okay. I
it,
did
yes.
not
Did
know
she
where
have
you were
fitness
going with that.
Did she have fitness videos?
Oh yeah, fitness video.
Yeah, she had a great
dancing with
body.
the
I
Julia
do
Otter.
remember some
Do you
film
remember?
where
Yeah,
she
yeah.
is dancing in
Dancing.
this film. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but then how do you? So you were the youngest competitor in a fitness challenge, or what was
No. I've never been the youngest doing
Okay.
anything.
But
I've
you
always
were
been-
you were in your 40s, and basically it's a time, your late 40s, right?
Right.
When most people are sort of maybe coming out of that, and you're coming into compete.
Right. So I got divorced at 42,
Okay.
and I was like, okay, I get to be anything I want. Who do I want to be? What do I want to do? And I knew that I wanted to compete. There was just something in me. I knew I was in great shape, but how can I be in the best shape of my life? And I'm like, I'm going to do this. And when I was married, he didn't allow me to do that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I found a great coach. So I started competing I met her when I was 47, started competing. All of my friends told me, what are you doing? You're like a mom. Like, you shouldn't be getting on stage in this little tiny
Don't
bikini
you love that when everyone comes
in
at you?
stripper
Yeah.
heels. And I kind of had to divorce those friends. I had no support
I think we have
system.
a picture of you competing.
This
But
is-
this is recent.
this
more
is 2
recent.
weeks ago,
Okay.
right?
Oh, wow. I would have
2
thought
weeks
this
ago, yeah.
was. I mean, you
No,
look amazing.
that was
in
2 weeks
picture.
ago.
Okay. And so
There is the
that-
picture.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that is
That is what's
amazing.
possible in your 60s. Like I said, I'll be
Wow.
65 December 27th.
happy
But
birthday.
it's
Thank
an
you.
inspiration
Yeah.
for everyone to realize that there is no age limit when you really take care of yourself.
Yeah.
But
Right.
besides the weight and besides the training, do you think then diet has a lot to do into that? Because you could go to the gym 5-6 days a week, and then you go eat a burger and hot dogs and French fries, and so what happened to that? So what is the
Eating-
diet?
Eating is everything. Eating is 80% of the equation. So you've got 80% of the equation is food, 10% is training, and 10% is your genetic makeup. Like, I'm never going to be as tall as you. It's not going to happen. That's not my genetic makeup. But what I can do is take one human being and change them to who they want to be if they listen to me. So I've always told women, if you listen to me, I will change your life. Because once we start changing the way we feel inside and outside, then everything changes in our life. And I help women build confidence, because so many women come to me and they don't think they could do it. And the food is the hardest thing to change.
Right.
Anybody could go to the gym, right? And women think that if they go to do an hour of cardio and then they come home and they just eat the same food, their body is not going to change. Your body will not transform.
My issue is often that the more I work out, the hungrier I am.
That makes sense.
So then I tend to eat more. So if I don't work out, I'm not as hungry, and I can go without as much food.
Me, I work out.
That's my trick.
Okay, I work out so I could be able to eat whatever I want to eat.
Okay.
So I love sweet, I love ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the gym 5-6 days a week. But because of the time I spend in the gym, I feel like I'm entitled of my ice cream
Right.
at night.
So
Get two ends.
he's
of
a
the
man.
spectrum. Mhm.
He's a man. So we can't
Yeah.
you know,
They
men
can-
are built differently than women, and especially women going through menopause, they continue to maybe do a lot of cardio, not eat because they think the same thing that you just said was, well, when I work out, I'm hungry. Oh, well, you need to eat more of the right foods,
Right.
which give you the energy and help build and maintain the muscle mass.
Yeah.
Because treating yourself because you worked out so hard is a really bad message you're sending to yourself, because now food seems like a reward or a punishment. So if I tell a client, I don't want you eating this, let's start pulling the ice cream away, for example, instead of 5 nights a week, let's do it 3 nights a week.
Yes, moderation.
Right,
is the key.
moderation. And then soon they start saying, I don't want the ice cream. I don't want the sweets. I'm good. I like the way I feel. Because you cannot build muscle without enough protein in your
Protein. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I found? This is just an aside, but these protein pancakes at Trader Joe's. Have you guys tried them?
I don't go grocery, Jimmy.
You don't go grocery. Okay.
He likes those
Well,
egg white things.
These are amazing for anyone who wants to try them. But so protein.
How much protein?
I don't know. I'll have to look.
Okay.
Because of course I see protein and I'm thinking I should have it.
Well,
but
everybody's going protein crazy. And the protein out of the 3 macronutrients, there's protein, the carbohydrates, which includes fruits, vegetables, and starches, like your pastas, your rice, and then healthy foods like olive oil, avocado, for example. Nuts, but you have to count out the nuts. I really try to take nuts away from my clients, because once you
I
start
thought
eating
nuts was healthy.
not a
10
can of nuts, right?
right, not a whole
Right.
big bag of nuts,
Yeah.
not ones that are like flavored in wasabi, salted,
Or with
caramel.
caramels or
Yeah.
honeys and
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
They're not bad, but in order to understand how you're supposed to eat and when you're supposed to eat, because portion control is everything.
Yeah.
Knowing what to eat, when to eat it, how much to eat.
But don't you think then we become now a society of instant gratification by mean then, we don't want to go to the gym. We don't want to diet. What we do is we shoot Ozempic.
Right.
And there we go. So, I think, again, the research hasn't been that extended in Ozempic, but I've seen some incredible results of people who barely don't work out, who lost a ton of weight on Ozempic. So, are we become a society of instant gratification? We decide then we want to lose weight, let's just shoot Ozempic. Forget the gym, forget the diet. What do you think?
Well, it's for some people, this is what I'll say. That's wrong to not change the way you eat and not to change the way you work out. Like if you're just shooting up Ozempic, say it like that. If you're just using Ozempic, not eating right, not working out, you're just going to be a skinny fat person. And that's unhealthy.
Skinny fat, not
Skinny
good.
fat. We don't.
Right.
Fat.
not
What
good.
is a skinny
It's
fat?
a
Skinny
person who
fat is
looks
somebody who doesn't
skinny.
have a lot of muscle on their body. They're just skinny. But if you check their body fat, it's higher than what you would think. And a lot of menopausal women get that way. And I think Ozempic and things like that are great for people who are stuck. And it's been a savior for a lot of men and women. But they need to include working out, some type of resistance training. When I say working out, I mean resistance training, lifting weights. And they need to change the way they eat. If they do not change the way they eat, it's never going to work for them. They will be unhealthy as they get older.
So the fitness area was for you, and competing in fitness was sort of part of this reinvention, this first reinvention of yours?
Well,
Is that what you
fitness
say?
has always been a part of my
Okay,
life since I
okay.
was 20. So the reinvention was me walking on stage and competing. That, it's a beautiful balance of femininity and the masculine energy you have when you're at the gym, lifting weights or whatever, And then you get to walk on stage and you have this beautiful figure and you have beautiful muscle tone, your hair and your makeup, you have a spray tan, you wear a beautiful bikini, high heels. And I just felt like every time I stepped onto the stage, I was stepping into my power. I was stepping into the new version of Jodi. Again, did not know who that was. Did not know, because when we're in the middle of it, we don't know what we're stepping into. But if we take a chance on ourselves and we bet on ourselves, it's scary, but we have to do it.
So, but aside from the fact that you had a lot of friends sort of say, "Hey, what are you doing? You should be home with the girls or
Yeah.
whatever." What were some of the other things, the other challenges involved that you had to sort of face, or fears? You talk a lot about fears too.
Well, yeah, that's fearlessly authentic.
Yes.
I was always a scaredy cat. I cared too much about what people thought of me. And that, again, I didn't even know I was doing it by shunning people away, by just, I didn't know that being myself was going to push people away. And at that point in my life, I didn't care anymore.
Is it because it made them feel uncomfortable that you were okay?
Yes. So
Or maybe envious of how you achieve or where you
people
at in this
didn't, yeah, they were like, well, how do you know you can get on stage? Well, why are you doing that? Because people don't like to see other people shine. And I didn't even know that was going on. You know, I was just sad that my friends weren't cheering for me or people weren't cheering for me. I just was like, I'm going to do what I need to do for me. I have to. I want to show my daughters what a strong female role model is. And what they saw before was a mom who went shopping all the time and went out for lunch with the girls and worked out. That's all they saw, shopping, out for lunch and dinner. And I wanted them to see more.
So when you decided to compete and be on stage, and how much time do you dedicate it before you go on the stage? Is 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, a month? What is the regimen to be able to get to the level you were when you go on stage?
It depends on, for me, because I'm always quite fit, I only need 12, maybe 16 weeks. Like this last show I did, I think it was like 9 weeks. So normally the minimum is 12 weeks. So I'm going to compete in March or April, so that's going to give me 16 weeks to really get my head in the game. I mean, the most important time is like 3 weeks before the show. You could kind of, if you're fit, you could kind of screw around a little bit. But
And then there is another question, obviously, steroids. I mean, men has tendency, they want to be big. They shoot steroid or they take some supplement to get bigger. How unhealthy is that to do those type of
it's terrible.
terrible,
It's
huh?
terrible. It's not good to do it for a long time. There are people that know how to take them safely. I am not a proponent of them at all, men and women, and you can tell very clearly what women are taking because they look like men. And for their health,
Going beers.
they start growing things in places women don't want to grow
Right.
things, and the men start losing things in places they don't want to lose it, if you know what I mean.
Do you win more?
Women's voices are deeper than yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it affects their vocal
Do you
cords.
feel like people are doing that because they want to win?
Yes.
Is that okay? So
Totally.
that is what
It's to win and to have that type of body.
Right. That's
That's
the
the
culture.
body they want to achieve. But when I first started competing in bikini, it was a very soft, pretty look, right? And so now bikini is a much harder look. So the division I competed in 3 weeks ago, is called Fit Model. So it's softer than bikini because in order to be competitive in bikini now, you have to juice up.
Got it.
I'm
And
never.
you had also been in Sports Illustrated.
Yes.
Okay.
So
we have a picture of that.
You have a
I
picture
feel
of
like,
that, I
too.
believe.
well, that's just me on the cover. of
Okay.
the
Well,
mag.
but that was from that, right?
Yes,
It
yes.
was okay.
Yes.
So talk a little bit
So,
about that. An experience.
So
There you
I
go.
was done. Yeah, I was done competing at 55. I did my last show, came in second in a world show. A 45-year-old tall blonde, those tall blondes,
Yes.
a 45-year-old tall blonde beat me.
Okay.
But it was in 45 and over category. And by the way, the show that I did 3 weeks ago was 50 and over. So those girls were 50, me 64. They don't have a category for 60 and over.
Maybe next year.
I know.
Maybe
Here
you
come
get
the
good.
grannies. Here come the grannies. So, what was I going to say about that?
How you got into the Sports Illustrated and sort of
Oh,
that
right.
whole experience.
So I had my studio and I was 58. My daughter, who is in PR, says to me, Mom, you should do the open casting call for Sports Illustrated Swim. I'm like, Lexi, I don't want to. I'm done. I'm done with the bikinis, the competition. She goes, Mom, What are you talking about? You're the only woman I know who could walk and talk in a bikini. I'm like, oh.
I love that.
I was getting married for the second time. My studio was like on fire. I'm like, I don't need to do this. For what? She's like, do it. I'm like, okay. So I had, at the last minute, put together, I found a videographer. He taped me. Why do I want to be in Sports Illustrated Swim? And it was because at the time, this was 2019, women weren't talking about menopause. That conversation was not out there yet. And, you know, I was just like, society wants to put women over 55 in a box.
Yeah.
And we don't belong in a box. We need to be heard. We need to be seen. And I want to be the woman who represents those women in Sports Illustrated Swim. Don't bring Christy Brinkley back and say, oh, look, we've got an older woman on the cover of SI Swim. I wasn't looking for the cover. I just wanted to be in the issue. Because they have so many different sizes of women that are in the issue. But where's the older woman? Where's the mature woman? Where's the regular woman who's just taking care of herself? So that was my campaign. So the first run was, so that was the first one. They didn't pick me for the first round. So if you don't make it, if you're not picked for the first round, now you've got to fly down to South Beach and do the open casting call. My daughter's like, get your butt down to South Beach. I'm like, ugh. My other daughter lived in Miami, so this was easy. She goes, put on your big girl pants. What did you always tell us? Put on your big girl pants and go down there and do it. And I'm like, oh. So stood in line for like 5 hours in the rain. I was telling Pascal, I was getting all these calls, New York phone numbers coming through. Said to my other daughter, can you just take these calls? I don't know what's going on. I can't deal with it. And it was like Good Morning America. It was the New York Post. It was Inside Edition. It was People Magazine. It was all these podcasts, because podcasts even weren't that big in 2019. You know, you had the big one, Barstool Sports and things like that. And they're all reaching out to me.
Yep.
So my daughter is making appointments for me to have interviews. Go in, they give you 1 minute to tell a model or tell somebody from SI Swim why you want to be in it. And then that night they call you. There were 10,000 women.
10,000 women.
10,000 women doing an open casting call.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I was older than, I was the oldest woman trying out. 10,000 women, more than half my age.
Yeah.
And they called me that night and they said, you made it to the top 60. I was like, but you cannot tell anybody. Meantime, so I had an exclusive with Good Morning America. Then the New York Post wanted pictures and so on. Go the next morning, because now we start again. Fill out the application again. There's 60 women. And my daughter says to me, Mom, what? She's like, look who's on the cover of the New York Post. So it was at the W. So here you have all the newspapers piled up, and there I am on the cover. So anyway, I didn't make it into the issue. There was another woman. She was 54, had gray hair.
Okay.
But I guess.
Oh, right.
This is what happens. I mean, you're a journalist, so you know, like, you don't want people guessing at what you're talking about.
Right.
So if she
telegraphed it very easily to people.
So if you see me with long dark hair, and you see a woman with white hair, you're like, oh, that's the older woman representative.
Right. Well, it's wonderful that you did that. And I think what I hear from you too is how your daughters are part of that, a big part of that story.
Yes.
And that must make you feel really good that because you were saying before, you wanted them to see more than just someone who was shopping and who was going to lunch.
Right.
And they have.
They have.
So how does that make you feel?
Oh my God.
But also,
makes me feel so good.
Don't you have the genetic? I mean, you're tiny. What are you, 5 feet, basically?
Last measure.
You are
11.
petite.
You're petite.
Were you surprised at how short I was?
A little bit, yes.
I mean,
everybody is.
I mean, when I saw, I said, well, okay. I mean, I'm a giant. For once, I'm
I know,
a giant.
it's like, oh my God, you're so tall.
She looking me up. I said, hey, how are you?
Right.
Usually, they look me down.
Right,
you know? So,
right.
So because of the genetic, it's much easier for you to be able to keep in shape. I mean,
The what?
Or
because of
harder.
no, when you have that small physique, it's easier to keep in shape than somebody who's trying to lose weight, where you were trying to get muscle mass versus trying to lose the fat.
Well,
it's much easier to build the muscle mass than it is to get rid of the fat. Am I right?
Well, they have to happen at the same time. So you're lifting weights to build and maintain your muscle, and you're eating correctly so you will lose body fat. So they have to work hand in hand. If you're eating the way you normally eat and you're lifting weights, if you're genetically prone to gaining weight, you're going to gain weight. Your body's not going to transform if you're not eating enough protein. You are genetically blessed.
I've always just thought, like, my mom is 5'2", and a couple pounds on my mom is much bigger deal than maybe a couple pounds on me.
Yes.
Just because we
Is that what
carry
you were
it
saying?
differently. Is that what you were
So
saying?
on a little person,
Yes.
it's not good if she gains weight. Because we're little, there's not a lot of room for that
Right.
body
saying.
weight
Hide
to
it
go.
or
Right,
to
it's all in
sort
there.
of
So
When
if you have the genetic of being a skinny versus a small, heavier side, I think it's much harder to lose the weight than it is to build the muscle. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, that's why diet is very important. I don't think that the height or the way somebody is built is easier or harder. I think there might be some people, like one of my sisters is very obese, and it would have been harder for her to lose weight than maybe me or my other sister. So she has to just work harder than I do. So in that sense, yes.
Because she's genetically built that way.
Built, right, yes.
So when you see somebody, because I go to the gym a lot and I see people, some women, as much as a man, who are on the heavier side, and I see them working their ass off.
Yes.
I mean, on the treadmill, working out, and I see them over the years, and they still have that heavy weight on them.
And the reason is because they haven't changed their diet.
Yeah.
So remember I said 80% is diet, 10% is training. So all they've done is the 10%. They have not changed their diet. And that's what's going to happen with the people who are taking GLPs like Ozempic, is that they're going to lose muscle mass. Although there's a new GLP out that says you're not going to lose so much muscle. You need to lift weights. You need to do some form of resistance training. And they'll lose muscle, so they'll become skinny fat, which is unhealthy.
Right.
And what do you think of those aerobic classes, the yoga versus Pilates versus, there is that big trend right now where the Orange Theory, what do you think of that versus going
Or
to the gym?
P-Valve.
Huh?
Isn't it P-Valve? Have you heard of
Yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
that's
there
new.
is all those places where you do Pilates, or the place you do yoga, or the place you do Orange Theory, which is a cross training. What the result of those type of workout versus lifting weight?
That's a really, really good question. And
Yeah,
I knew you were
I've
gonna
always
say-
asked good question.
He always gets one.
I'm always
that's
somebody
a great
always said, "Oh my
question.
God, I'm asking good question."
Yeah, okay.
It's a good question because I get asked that often, and there is a place for those types of workout depending on where you are in your fitness journey and how old you are. So ages and stages of your life. In my 30s, I would do Orange Theory fitness. In my 60s, no way in hell. If I have a menopausal woman who's trying to lose weight, I pull her so fast out of F45 and out of Orange
Wait,
Theory
what?
fitness.
Why?
Because she's raising her cortisol levels.
Okay.
She hasn't changed the way she's eating, and she's not lifting weights. She's going, oh, really fast. Oh, nobody's watching her form. Yes, I know that there are trainers
Yes.
watching your form, but no, when you lift, it's slow. It's not how fast you can do it, not for her age and not for where she is in life. But if you're 30 and 40, like one of my closest friends is 40 years old and she does F45, and it works for her because she's been lifting since she was 18 years old. And that's what works into her lifestyle, having a small child.
Right.
So it raises your cortisol levels.
really
Like even my
surprised about that.
32-year-old daughter, she's like, Mom, is it okay if I don't do HIIT classes? I go, yes.
Right.
Like just do 30 minutes of cardio, steady state after you lift weights
Okay.
and change the way
I
you
do
eat.
like an hour of walking.
You don't need to spend that much time. Do 30 minutes. Now,
I
why
got my 10,000 steps. I got
watch
my
a
Apple
show,
Watch
right.
telling me.
Yeah.
you
Yes,
know?
I do
are you
too.
walking because you like to walk that long? I'm going to say no.
No, I mean, well, sometimes if I watch a show, then I'm watching a show while I'm walking. But I think, so you're saying I just don't need to be walking that much, but maybe I can't really do an incline because,
That's fine.
okay.
That's
so
fine.
I
I
should go
think
low
that
on-
if you enjoy it, it's good for your
Yes.
heart.
Okay.
So, but you don't need to do more than 30 minutes.
Yes. Okay.
And what is
Okay.
what is the
Right.
challenge of? I've seen some people. I mean,
Just
I've
got
been
30 minutes back of my life.
Yeah, but if you're trying to get
there
10,000,
you go. 30-minute walking is
Right.
enough.
Okay.
but if you're trying to get, oops,
Yeah.
I keep doing that.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get in 10,000 steps,
Yes.
then walk on the treadmill.
Yes.
Like, especially since it's so cold out,
Yes. Yeah.
you can do that.
Yes. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So what is the question
But
I wanted
it's
to
not
ask
for
you?
weight loss. Understand that that is not for weight loss. That's
Right.
mind and heart.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Nothing changes if you don't change the way you eat.
Right. Yes.
The question I was going to ask you is, I've seen people in the gym and they lift up such a heavy weight, 1 rep, 2 reps. And then you get a guy, most likely like me, where I do a lighter rep but lighter weight. So what happened with those guys who lift in weight? Are they lifting that heavy weight because they want to build up bulk? Or because they just want to be macho and say, look how much I'm lifting?
Are they also grunting while they're doing it?
Yeah.
Because I always see those.
Well, you have to breathe. And some people.
Oh, is that what that is?
It's breathing.
Really? Okay.
It's breathing.
Right.
So if I could talk to, let's say I have a client I'm going to use bicep curls. I'm going to use squats. And she's holding the weights and she's, so yesterday we went to the mall and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's not heavy enough. If you can talk through your workout, you're not working hard enough. Like if you do da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you're not working hard enough. So the grunting is them breathing. But some people don't need to be that loud. But to answer your question, I think each person has their own goal as to why they're doing that. So maybe the people lifting really heavy want to bulk up. And maybe they just want the mirror muscles. They don't care about functional strength. They just want to get bigger.
Okay, now
Usually their form is not very good
now
either.
the question I have is, I'm sure you know who's Coleman, the world champion, Mr. Olympiad, many times on the road, Coleman.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, he was the biggest guy in the world. He won Mr. Universe. Now he's a cripple.
Right.
Basically, he can barely walk. So
Right.
to me, I believe that lifting heavy weight as you're younger and as you get older, you're more prone for injury than you are being consistent by your lower weight, more rep. That's
It depends on what their goals are when they were younger. So if he wanted to become, compete in bodybuilding his whole life, then he started when he was young and he built up all that muscle. He was probably taking steroids
yeah,
and a lot
yes.
and lifting really heavy. Steroids don't make you lift heavier, but they do help you maintain all that muscle mass. And then you can lift heavier. So it does affect your kidneys, it affects your liver, it affects your bones, it affects everything. It's just not good for you. And affecting that you said he's a cripple, it's because he puts so much weight on his body that
Right.
his
You have to-
joints are probably hurting.
Yeah, but even when you see a guy who's bulking as he get older, it's very hard to keep that shape, that body.
yeah.
I mean, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I love. I take a lot of respect
him
for his
too.
accomplishment.
Yep.
He's one of the greatest guys of all time. And he was Mr. Olympia, Mr. Universe. But look at him now. He's just like a ball of fat, basically. I
Yeah.
mean, he's...
Is
he's-
he? I haven't seen him. I
he's
he
like,
looked
he's
fit.
heavy. He's like,
He does
you know-
smoke his cigars. He's never given up his cigars.
Well, The Rock just lost a lot of weight.
Yes, because he's making a movie.
Right, but so everybody did.
He's trying to reinvent himself.
Yes,
Yes.
So I think what he's showing men in particular is like, guys, big guys, you can trim down and look leaner because it's very, very hard to maintain
sustain.
all that muscle
hard.
when you get older. So, like I said, I would do F45 in my 30s and probably in my 40s, maybe, yeah. But then I'm going to change the way I work out as I age. And that doesn't mean it's harder because I still lift heavy. It's just different.
Yes.
And that's why it's really important to have a good coach who understands what to do. Same thing with men. They want, what's the best physique for a man is to be lean and to have muscularity so they can stand up straight. And if we fall, we can stand back up. That's why we need muscle for our posture,
Right.
strong abs, strong
core.
core.
I mean,
Right.
I think what you're saying is, no matter what, activity is what matters.
Just to
So
move your
just do
body.
base activity. And then
And if you don't know where to start, just go outside and walk.
yes, just walk.
Just go outside and walk and start prioritizing your lean protein.
Okay.
Chicken, fish.
Yes, chicken, fish. What else? I don't know. I eat a lot of cottage cheese. I'm a huge cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese?
Yes,
I don't like
cottage
cottage
cheese.
cheese.
I don't like cottage cheese either.
Cottage cheese and saltines is like one of my major lunches.
I eat a lot of fish.
Anyway, what I'm
talk about
so
that later.
curious, Jodi, about is
don't mind.
how this physical strength and sort of your transformation during that time, how did that impact your relationships and your confidence?
Everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything.
Tell us more.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
hear about that 64 years old. You're not 65 yet. At 64 years old, how's your dating life has been? I mean, you're beautiful, in shape. What are you looking to? What kind of men are you looking for
Well,
based
let
on?
me answer Jamie's question.
What is the answer to my question? Okay,
She's
answer
looking
Jimmy.
for a man
Okay.
who likes to wear gray.
Who is handsome? Who's
Has
got
a French accent.
Pascal was recently called the French Don Johnson.
Don
Our
Johnson.
guest-
Oh, I
our
can see
recent
that.
guest.
I can see that.
French John
I
Jackson?
can
Who
see
called
it.
me like that?
It was Dr. Lee, and when he said it,
Oh, from a
it sort of
plastic
just like went
surgeon.
over my head, and I listened to it later, and I was like, wow, that is very, I
okay.
guess, suave. Okay.
So go ahead,
Yes,
answer
so-
Jimmy's question first.
So, I would say it's very emotional for me.
Yes.
Everything changed. Everything changed when I felt like I didn't have to apologize for who I was anymore. And I didn't know that what I was doing in the gym, my 30s, and my ex-husband made fun of me for going to the gym. Be like, oh, those legs are getting pretty big and those biceps are getting pretty big. And like, he shamed me. He shamed me. And, even little things like my mom, what are you going to the gym for? And then my friends going, why do you care about what you're eating? You're already thin. It's not about thin. But like I said, I
about being
kept
strong,
doing it.
right.
And what it did was it built such a strong mental tenacity in me that I didn't know I had. I didn't know I could be that strong mentally because I was a people pleaser. Oldest of 3 girls, just wanted to make my parents happy, wanted to go, I did all the right things. I got good grades. I dated the star football player. I went to a great women's college and had a great job and then married a nice Jewish man. And, I did everything right, the cars, the house. And I was like, I'm not happy. Sorry, everybody, but I'm going to disappoint you. I'm going to divorce this guy. And I just didn't know that all those years of me working out and staying fit through my divorce from him was going to bring me to that place. And I'm so grateful to myself for following my gut.
Yeah.
It helped me get through everything. I mean, I opened up my first fitness studio at 50. And I wanted to be there for every woman that I could be there for because I knew they were struggling. I mean, I was working at a big box gym and the women felt uncomfortable around men watching them work out. I'm like, well, I'm going to open up my own gym. What am I going to call it? Let's call it Jodi Fit,
Right.
Boutique fitness. Nobody heard
Right.
of boutique. What's a boutique fitness? And my boss at the time at this big box gym was like 32 years old. He said, you're taking all of our clients. I didn't have an NDA or anything like that. And I'm like, yeah. And he said, I know what you're doing. He goes, who do you think's going to come and work out with a 50-year-old woman? I go, watch me.
Right. Right. I
Ooh.
mean, I love
Everybody was against me.
Yes.
Nobody wanted to see me succeed.
But that's life in general. I've noticed
But
one
I
thing in life.
never-
When I open a salon, people say, "Oh, he's gonna fail. He won't last too long." And people have tendency to be very negative about success. Instead of recognizing success and pump you out and make you feel good about yourself. And that's the type of person I am. When I see somebody opening a business, I say, hey, good, what can I do to help you
Right.
to get better? I mean, I have in my industry salon owner who calling me and ask me, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I've always give them my best because I believe that get back to me.
Of course. And you're also telling that person because you sincerely want to help you. And it's not about like, well, I don't want it. You're secure. You're not thinking, oh, they're going to take business from me.
And competition
'Cause
is healthy.
Competition is great. Yes,
healthy.
exactly.
What is that saying? All the tide rises all the boats. And
Yes.
so that's this idea, if other people can be successful, we can all be successful.
Of course.
I love that. Do you feel that criticism fueled you? Right. Okay. And did not make you, because some people it would make them go and hide or retreat. But for you, you said, I'm going to prove them wrong.
I'm going to prove them wrong. And I did have my ebbs and flows
Yes.
of even on social media,
Right.
because I had like 99% of my followers were men when I started.
Mm.
I'm like,
Just trying to pick you up.
Right.
and,
And so what do you say?
so I shifted. That was a big shift for
Okay.
me.
And so what did you do to make that shift?
I didn't know it was going to happen.
Yes.
I decided, screw it. I am going to talk about being a postmenopausal woman.
Mhm.
And I made a video. I was sick in the hospital. I'd gotten really bad food poisoning. I was in the hospital for like 3 days, so I hadn't posted anything.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I better post something. I'm like, when you're just in one of those days, you're like, screw it. I don't really care. And that's what my mood was. And I put up a video of me just walking in my house, and it said, born in 1960, 62 years old, 12 years postmenopause, 28 million views.
Wow.
And that shifted everything. I got rid of the creepy men, and I brought in all of these wonderful women, and the men that were there for the right reasons. And I'm not saying they're all there for the right
Yes.
reasons, but were there,
Yeah.
stayed.
Yes.
And so now it's like a beautiful
Community.
60-40, of very supportive women and the women I want. And I gained like 200,000 followers in like 2 months. It was insane.
Maybe I should do like sometime like I got metapause and I come to
Well,
my house.
I think it's the
and I
vulnerable.
said, here I am, And
It was
get
about being
Well, we definitely
fearlessly
would love to. I'm
authentic.
sure people would love to see that.
my metapause.
But I think what this is yes, it's exactly your brand, fearlessly
Right.
authentic. But it's also, wouldn't you say, this idea of just being vulnerable and tapping into something that sort of this space, and realizing that there's so many of us that want to be real and want to be talking about
Right.
those things.
Right. And I thought it was important for my followers to know, because everybody thought I was younger. So I'm screaming, hey, I'm 58, I'm 62,
Right.
and people are like, oh, you're 50, right? Like, no, I'm an old hag.
I'm proud and of your age.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's always been that thing where I looked younger, and I'm like, no, this is how old I am, and I'm proud. And I've worked really hard
Yes.
to be this woman.
Yeah.
And
And so what do you say to the Jodi before? Do you look back at her with some grace?
I do.
Yeah.
You're going to make me cry.
Oh, I don't
Do you have a bucket of Kleenex in here?
I
Right.
do. I
Yes.
do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pascal, tell a joke.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How's your dating doing these days?
Oh my God, it goes back to that.
No, I do look at her and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? You were good enough then.
Yes.
You were good enough then. You just didn't know you were good enough then.
Did you go to some therapy to help you to feel better about yourself, to talk
Sure.
to someone and having
Sure,
objective
that
opinions?
helped. That
helped?
definitely helped.
Yeah.
But with therapy, it's ongoing, and it's like coming to a coach like me. If you don't do the work,
There's some tissues.
thank you.
Yeah.
If you don't do the work, then you're never going to get the results. So
Right.
whatever she advised me to do, therapists don't really tell you what to do, but you're able to, I would cry and she'd say, what are the tears for? And you'd be like, oh.
Right.
And I was always trying to please my parents, my mother in particular, who was very bold. So I think that's why I wanted to just become wallpaper, because my mom was so bold. She drove the flashy cars, she wore flashy jewelry, and so I decided I'm going to be the opposite of my mother, the absolute opposite. And that was basically my dad. And I was like, there's got to be some kind of balance. So I started creeping out of that.
Yeah.
And I did that,
You
in my
found-
30s, but in a different way, in a way that still fit into the life that my ex-husband wanted me to be.
Right. And would you say,
Like I was president of Hadassah.
okay, yes.
I went to Israel
Right.
with Hadassah.
So you're doing all the conventional, but still worthy things. It just
Right.
wasn't for you necessarily.
Right.
Do you think that you couldn't make that change at the time because really some of it is age. I've realized since I've turned 50 that I don't care about as many things as I, used to, or certain things I don't care about. I think that I say that
Right.
the right
But that's
way.
what I was telling that to Jodi.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, you kind of a little bit." I said, "In my age, I really don't give a shit what people
Right.
said about me.
Right.
I have my group."
But were
of
you
friends.
always that way or just,
I was pretty much that way. I was.
Right.
I have a lot of confidence. I'm, as you know, I'm a little bit unfiltered. I say the way things are. And if they don't like me, they don't like me, and I could give a shit about. I think to me, I have a good group of people who know who I am. They know the type of person I am, and that's what I go about. But I'm not worried about what they think. And I even said to you, don't listen to those messages,
Right.
because it's people who has nothing nice to say. They don't have to say anything.
I've even
Right.
said it to people who make nasty comments about
Yeah.
me. I'm
I
like,
don't. I
we don't want you
respond.
here. I
no,
don't
I
want
don't
any
want you
nasty
here. I just block
comments.
them.
Right.
Yeah,
Delete and
you
block.
don't want to
But
respond.
I think again we go always. It sort of comes back to the Mars versus Venus, men versus women. I think there are some major differences, and I think in terms of that don't care, I think it's harder for women to maybe it's easier to say we don't care, but then to really make that real.
Right. We can say we don't care as
Right.
much as we want,
Right.
but we're natural nurturers.
Yeah.
And it's just different. It's just different. And we always feel like we need permission. And that's the other thing that I realize is that I don't need anybody's permission to do anything. And I also, I look to my daughters, if I was dating somebody they didn't like, ugh, mom, gross, ew, ew. He should be more like this or he should be more like that. So I would stop dating that person because my daughters didn't like him. And there's some validity to that. I don't want to be dating a creep that my daughters didn't like, but I'm at the point in my life now, finally,
Right.
it's only taken
I know,
65 years for me to
But
say.
you still have so much journey left.
I know,
but still, yes.
but they know that I'm bold and they know that I'm going to do what I want to do. And it's nice. They've seen me evolve. I've seen
So what is the next step for you now? You have accomplished the stage. You went under you competed professionally. You are in a top shape. What is the next? What do you see yourself in the next 5 years coming up? What is the next goal for Jodi?
I don't really know. I do know that I want to compete again. Hopefully one of my daughters is going to be doing it with me. And I'm coaching online virtually, which I absolutely love because I'm impacting the lives of women that I normally wouldn't be able to because they didn't live near me. So now I'm meeting all of these amazing women. So I have this great business online right now. My podcast, it's just really,
Right.
I'm open to whatever the universe
I love
is
that.
bringing to me. Like my heart is so open that it blows my mind. I'll tell you a story, quick story. Thanksgiving. It was at my daughter's house with her fiance, and it was my ex-mother-in-law. So my children's grandmother and my ex-husband, the man I divorced in 2002, his girlfriend. And then
Sounds like a sitcom or a Netflix Christmas movie.
we have not had a great relation. We have not had a good run, but lately, like in the last couple of years, we've gotten
Right.
along better. And it was so nice to like just be in a good space in life. Like I'm in a really, really good space in life. And I think if I wasn't in that good space, then maybe that whole thing wouldn't have worked, being in that same environment, and it just worked. And maybe it's just growth, and you've got to be open to growth. You've got to be open to some change. You can't be like, no, 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 no. You've got to. So I'm going wherever the wind blows me.
I love it. You're you and I've talked before this a little, and you're extremely inspiring. Your story is inspiring. And while we sort of said this was all about reinvention, and we talked a lot about fitness and other areas, but really reinvention can be very bold and big, and it can be very small and more subtle.
Yes.
And it could
can't
happen in any
be-
age.
Yes.
Any
yes.
age,
important.
any
Any
stage.
age.
But there's a
It
movement
could
right
be-
now with people, especially women 50 plus, of
yes.
reinventing.
Right, because they're saying, I'm not going to stand for this anymore. I'm going to be me. And when I was 50, it wasn't that way. It was like, keep your mouth closed, stay in your box. And I think it's because your generation of women have this amazing platform, social media, to speak out about menopause. And, gray divorce is a big thing. A lot of women are getting divorced post-menopause, over 55.
Yeah.
A lot of women are getting divorced because they're like, I'm not going to stand it anymore. I don't want to be married to this jerk anymore.
We had a whole episode on that.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And so we know. Yes.
It's such a big thing because
and more women, I don't mean to jump on you, but more women I read in Forbes are starting new businesses after 50 than ever before. There's been an increase.
And when I opened up my business at 50, people were like, you're going to die in 10 years. Like, what are you opening up a business for?
Right.
I'm like, because I want to, because there's a need for me. Women need me. So
I think we age better now with our new working out, diet, and lifestyle. I think, when I look at my dad at 65, I say, oh my God, he was an old man. My dad was an old man. And now I'm looking at myself and saying, I'm not that old.
No.
I think it shifted. I think our medicine become better, our longevity become longer, and I think to me, and we've talked
our
about
mindset.
that, the mindset. I think you have to think positive. That is
Everything.
all about the mind. We talked about that the last time. The choice you make and how you go about your life, and surround yourself with people who care about you. People who make you feel good, people who bring you up, not people who put you down. The people who put you down.
My husband talks about that all the time, just champions. You champion other people and they'll champion you. And just, that's the vibes.
Yes.
And if they're not championing you, then move on.
Right.
You can't be there. You can't be with that dark cloud over you or somebody who wants to pull you down.
Right.
And I've faced that a lot.
So let me ask you about dating, because obviously,
Third time's the charm.
I like that.
God,
Okay. No. I like to talk about that because I think it's important, particularly in our age. Okay. You're 64 years old. I've seen you working out at the gym. You're in a top shape. You're a beautiful woman. You get class and elegance. What kind of age will be appropriate for you to date?
I would say I wouldn't go younger than 10 years younger than me.
So you're thinking 54 years old?
I mean, maybe 50, maybe 50, depending on how old his children are. I really don't want to meet somebody who's got toddlers, like not doing that.
Yeah.
It would be nice. And then 10 years older than me.
So that's 74 years old.
Right. Which sounds really old.
74 years old.
Age is
really
just a
old.
number.
Age is a number,
but
you
it
know
is
what?
a number.
Look at, there is the 64 years old,
Yes.
and there is the 64 years old. I think some people are aging beautifully like Jamie, and some people don't age that beautiful because of their diet, because of their exercise regimen. I think, to me, do you have a challenge dating? It is difficult for you to find people? Are you meeting the people in your group age, or where are you with that?
I'm really not dating because
You're focusing on yourself.
I'm really not there. It's not a priority for me right now. So I'm not really looking. My mindset isn't there. I'm just really just enjoying who I am right now and who I'm becoming. So,
But don't you think as we get...
Men never talk to me. So I'll answer that question. If I'm out, nobody talks to me.
I talk to you.
Well, no, I knew who you were.
You know what, Jodi?
But I go out and nobody
I just
talks
saw
to me.
Scarlett Johansson talk on the morning show or something. And she said the same thing, that when she was single before Colin, that she didn't ever get asked. I know she's a famous movie actress,
Right.
but I think there is something about very attractive women. And I don't know if it's necessarily intimidation.
Men are afraid to approach attractive looking women.
Maybe, yeah.
They're afraid of the rejection. And that's what men
Get
are.
over yourself.
Right. They should men have to. Right.
Men will not go see a woman sitting in a bar with a girlfriend. They wouldn't go and say, hey, how are you? Can I buy you a drink? I saw you. They wouldn't take the girl, look at him and say, no, thank you. The guy's going to walk away and he's going to feel like that. So that's why we've talked about that in our previous past.
Yeah.
The online dating, it's easy to be rejected online than it is to be rejected in person.
I was out with a divorced friend a couple weeks ago, and we were out sort of late on one of the weeknights in a local restaurant, and she was approached by several people throughout the night.
That's nice.
So maybe it also was the timing of it. I don't know.
I think where you are, I mean, I'm in Miami right now.
Yes.
It's where I live is very young.
Right, we're in the suburbs.
Yes,
so
you're in
it's
the
different.
suburbs. It's a little different. People have sweaters and coats on. I'm not taking anything away from your beautiful friend.
Yes.
But where
She is beautiful.
Where I am is very young. And so
Miami, yes.
it's very, I'm in Brickell. And so it's just very young. And I like it because nobody's bothering me. Sure, do I talk to people in the elevator and I talk to people walking my dog? Everybody's younger than me. Like when I see an old man, he's probably my age. I'm like, oh yeah, there was an old man that talked to me. He's my age.
But you would
Like
like,
there was an old guy at the gym. And of course he was my
so you're
age.
not thinking about it now,
No.
Jodi, but
No.
you would like that, the companionship,
Yes,
right?
I think I will eventually. Right now I'm enjoying not hearing any annoying voices,
Yeah.
not needing to care about a man's needs.
Yeah.
Like I need him to be independent. If he's going to come into my life, like have your shit together.
Yeah, you don't
Like, I'm
want
not
to change his
taking
diaper, am I right? You don't
No,
want to change
not changing his
diapers.
diaper, not making his lunch, not making his dinner. Like, let's go out and have fun. I'm looking for somebody eventually who likes to have fun and is playful and is young at
Yeah.
heart, you know?
Well, I mean, you've just basically listed all the things that Pascal is.
Well, he
He
creeps in
definitely
at that
won't make you.
age range.
He
He's within
definitely
that
won't
age
make you
range.
make him a sandwich because you'll go out for it. So we've been ending some of these conversations with like a rapid fire round that
Okay,
I
that's
just
fun.
collected, and of course, if Pascal has any to add, but a wellness trend that's overrated.
Oh, you asked me about the classes.
Yeah.
Wellness trend that's overrated. I think people are overrating, like they were cold plunges were overrated.
Ooh, we talked
Cold
about
plunges.
those.
Cold
Okay.
plunges.
Okay.
Overrated. It raises women's cortisol levels.
Gosh, these
Ladies, you
cortisol
do
levels.
not need to cold plunge
But you're talking
Okay.
for women, not for men.
for women. I
Okay.
because I don't
Okay.
train men.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think men cold plunge is good for the blood circulation.
I think it's
Yeah.
good for
But actually, that's a big
Probably-
trend right now. Those wellness centers where there is a
Right.
cold plunge, there is a sea salt, the
I
oxygen.
promise you, you're going to see a decline in cold plunges.
okay.
Not because I said it, but
Right.
because
They're
women
going
are
to
realizing
plunge.
Okay.
The cold
that no,
plunges
They're gonna
are
cold
plunging.
plunge.
that these
They're gonna-
women don't like to cold plunge.
Yes.
And they were doing it because they were told they needed to do it.
Okay.
They
I've
did
done
it in the
I've done
Golden
it.
Bachelor with Mel.
Yes,
They did a cold
remember
plunge
with
with
who was it? Was it Cheryl? And she was not happy about
freezing
Not
there.
going
happy.
in.
And
No.
she's a fitness person.
Yes.
Right, and she hasn't really.
She
done
was in
that.
fitness her whole life.
Yeah.
Okay, so she did not like that.
Yeah.
This is not on my list, but I have a question about hormone replacement therapy. Are you
Do
a
it.
fan of that?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't start until I was 60.
Okay.
So 10 years
We
post
need to get on
menopause.
that.
I love it. Every woman should be on it if they're a candidate.
Okay.
So ladies, get your
Yes.
labs done.
I-
Get your blood work done.
Yeah.
Find out what your levels
These are
are.
conversations I have all the time with my friends, and
Yes.
no one knows what.
And your
no one knows what to do.
gynecologist, if they give you a bullshit, can I say
Yes.
that?
Yes.
If they give you a bullshit answer, like this is part of aging,
Yeah.
run.
Okay.
Run and call me, text me,
I love
DM
it.
me.
I love it.
Yes.
A lesson you learned late.
Lesson I learned late was to be okay being me.
Should have divorced a long time ago. You shouldn't stay married that long. No?
Was that
Married
one of your
that long?
lessons as
No,
well
no.
that you should
That's a
have
lesson. Then
gotten
you stay in a
divorced
marriage.
earlier?
When we talk, you stay in a marriage too long.
Right.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think to me, the lesson I've learned is if you're not happy in a relationship, you try to go to some therapy and try to work it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work out, just end it. No need to try to fix something who's not fixable.
That's a good point.
And we have tendency to stay just because of the children, just because of the comfort, the security. But if you're not happy, nobody's going to be happy.
My counter to that, though, is that because my parents are celebrating 60 years this month, and I just think they went through a lot of hard times, not hard enough to separate or anything, but a lot of hard times. And I just feel like in the end, it was all, it was worth it because now they get the fruits of their labor, so to
Yes,
speak, and they're
yes.
together. And I don't know, I feel like I'm not arguing with what you're saying. It's just more that I do think that sometimes people might be more willing to give up than sort of just realize we have hard times.
And I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I know that both of my relationships that
You did everything you could.
I did everything that I could. And they weren't there to meet me in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's when I had to say, I've got to go.
Yeah.
I've got to take care of myself, be that role model for my daughters. I wouldn't want them to be with a person like that for these
Right.
reasons. So
Right.
what kind of mother am I to say I'm going to tolerate that? That means that's going to happen to them. And sure, you know, when I hear somebody celebrating 60 years of marriage, I'm like, well, I'm never going to get to that. You know, or 40 years. Well, I'm never going to get to that unless I meet somebody right now and I live until 104.
Right. Well, again, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, the actual number doesn't matter. I think it's a hard question, and it's personal.
I think in
when to call it
your
quits.
parents'
Very hard.
generation,
Yes.
in your parents' generation, like my parents'
Yes.
generation, there was no divorce.
There was
Yeah.
no
You
divorce.
stick to the good and the bad. My mom would have said, you know, I would have left him, but I didn't want to
Break up the family.
break up the family.
Yeah.
Okay, today it's accepted. You know,
Yeah.
you're not happy, you move on, because I just don't think that stay in an unhealthy marriage or unhealthy relationship is good for anybody. It's not good for you. It's not good
not
for
good
the
for the
kids.
kids.
You got to walk away. And,
Yeah.
and you, I think I was a much better father being single than I was married.
Right.
Same. I
Good.
do too. I do too. My daughters would have never, I would have been, if I stayed in my first marriage, you would have just seen me sedated all the time. I would, that song, you know, that song Sedated, I don't know who sings it, but I just, yeah,
Okay.
I would have been like probably on,
Yeah.
yeah, not good.
Best part of being your age.
Everything.
Aw.
Everything. I love being my age. I love that I'm so healthy and I feel so vibrant and, you know, feminine and strong. I love the wisdom that I have. I love how strong but feminine I feel. It's great. It's really,
I love that. A habit that changed your body the most?
that was changing. You know, I was always fit, but when I really got serious, which was after I had my second daughter at 32, that's when I started counting my macros. I hired a coach, and it was the food.
Okay. All
The
right.
food, ladies. It's the
food,
food.
the
It's the
food.
food.
The food is the
It's
food,
the
yeah.
A guilty pleasure you'll never quit.
Oh, my
Gummy bear.
gummy bears.
Oh,
Gummy bear.
really?
Gooey gummy
Gummy
I
bears.
love gummy. The Haribo? Or
No,
different
I'm
ones?
going to
Oh.
tell you better ones.
Oh, okay.
Fresh Market. Is there a Fresh Market?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, get the gummy bears from Fresh Market. I will not give those up.
Okay. I
And
love
she
gummy
freaked
bears.
out last night. She's looking for the gummy bear.
I
I
love
was.
it.
I couldn't find them.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to find those. All right. We'll leave
And
it at
Twizzlers.
And Twizzlers. Oh, my husband loves
Yeah,
Twizzlers. I'm not a licorice person, but
Mm.
I like gummy bears,
Yeah.
weirdly.
good.
So I guess we'll end on this. For the women that are listening and watching, and men, but mostly women, who feel stuck or scared about sort of this change that they maybe know could happen, what's the first step that they could take toward that reinvention?
I think it's very important that they take stock as to who they are and what they want and be really honest. And maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's going on a retreat. That changed my life a lot. But really being honest with yourself and ask yourself, what do I really want? Forget everything else, but what do I want? And be selfish. It's okay, because that's self-care. I know we've heard that before, but it really is true. So take stock into what you want out of life, who you want to be, how do you want to show up for yourself and for the people you care about. And then go after it.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I love it. I've so enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you,
I
me
mean,
too.
when Pascal said, "What do you think about Jodi?" I was like, I know she's going to be amazing, and you've turned out to be even more, just inspiring.
we'd be-
check
Thank you.
out her podcast, which is Fearlessly Authentic. And what else do we want to talk about?
If you're interested in working with me, DM me, go to my website, jodiharrisonbauer.com. You can find me anywhere, jodiharrisonbauer.com. Everywhere.
Great. And Pascal, your last word?
Malas, it was a pleasure having you here. I hope you enjoy a little bit the Chicago weather,
Yes,
and
it's beautiful and gray.
hopefully we'll have a chance to have you again. You know,
Yeah.
and the very enlightening conversation about
Very.
the woman, menopause, and gold, and I think it's interesting. You know, I think there is a lot to say about finding yourself, and you could find yourself at any age.
I would agree with
That
that.
is very
I would agree.
important. You know.
Yeah, I love it. And please subscribe and like and all sorts of things. And we will check you in my hometown next time, right? Okay.
In my hometown.
In my home.